good. Trev's here. Hello, Trev. How are you, man? Where are you at this weekend? Are you going to be here? Are you going to be North Carolina, or where are you, man? I haven't heard from you this week. Call me. Corey B. Craft, ready for Judgment Day? Yes, sir. We sure are. We're ready. Got the dyno dialed in last night. Set up a couple new parasitic files. Going to finish another one up today for Dooley's. We are definitely ready to go. I'm stoked. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have great weather, man. Knock on wood. Looks like everything's going to be good. So, yeah, absolutely. Schumann's on. He's on. Hello, Eric. Ask us a question, man, about your truck if you want to. Zach, you're coming. You're going to be here, brother. Going to be good to see you, man. So let's go over a couple of things that we got going on. We talked about our sales that we've got going on this week. We have got Rob. Hello, Rob. Sorry I missed you today, man. I'll call you this evening, see what you guys are up to. We've got our industrial 10% off turbo sale going on right now. We still got our GB sale for our GB67 injectors with feed tubes. It's a really, really good deal if you guys are looking for those. We've got a couple of different things that I want everybody to know. If you're in the market for a turbo for your 6.7 Dodge 07.5 to 2012, we are a stocking Holset dealer. We do have the new Holset remans on the ground ready to go here. So if you're looking for those, we've got those at a really good price, hopefully better than anybody in the nation. So if you're looking for that turbo, I've got it for you. Zach, I know, man, we all gotta be back on work on Monday. So I know you're from up north somewhere. So Sunday, if you're sticking around, Zach, after Dyno Day, we're gonna go to Keeneland. So you're more than welcome to go. All right, first question, Brad Donison, how much power can you get out of a 600cc P7100? Well, Brad, it just depends on what the support modifications are around the pump, just depending on turbo and everything. I don't think that you should have any problem. Most 7100 frame turbos are going to be able to pack you up to whatever horsepower level that you've got the turbo to support. So fueling wise, the capability is totally there if set up correctly. So Judgment Day is on Saturday. Adam is right. I don't know how many pre-registrants we've got. Maybe Adam can tell us how many over there. We do still have spots left, so if you guys want to get signed up, you can go to the website and do that. You can call in one of our Thoroughbred or one of our sales guys. They're totally going to be able to take your registration on that. So 363 over 475, Brad. Just depending on how much time you got set up in the truck. I don't see why the truck shouldn't be able to make. Just depending on the size of injectors, you should be able to make everywhere. 600, 700 horsepower for sure. Tyler Luwan said, what transmission rebuild kit do I need for my 2010 Ram 6.7 68 RFE if I'm making 600 horsepower and recommended torque converter to run? We carry all the major torque converters and rebuild kits. We carry ATS, we carry Suncoast, BD, all of those. With that truck, man, I would definitely suggest doing some tuning upgrades so you're able to pack the increased line pressure that you're going to be asking out of the valve body. Make sure that you do valve body upgrades as well. You can use tuning from any of the different tuning platforms if you have EFI Live or EasyLink, or you can go into a standalone module like an ATS Copilot. So, yes, Adam brought up another good point. Show and Shine this year, $500 for the best in show prize. The guy that's taking care of that is totally jazzed about being the judge for the show and shine this year. It's going to be a new kit. It's going to be a new thing for us, so we're looking forward to it. Casey Patterson said, I got a turbo kit for my 12 Ram from IKT Performance in Milton, Kentucky. IKT is a Kentucky shop. Good dude, so you shouldn't have any problems with your turbo from those guys, man. Make sure I'd gotten everyone. Brad Gustafson, sorry I missed your question there, or Chris Gustafson, sorry if I messed your name up, but can a bad turbo put excess pressure into your crankcase? Chris, normally what we find in that situation is it's not a bad turbo that's getting you more increased blow-by. You've actually got a motor problem that is causing the blow-by. If you have a oil contamination issue and you're taking out turbos as well, you could have a vicious cycle going on there, brother. So I would look to it being more blow-by on the engine before I would suspect the turbo causing the blow-by getting in the motor. That is a very, very You don't get that very much. There's Jason Long watching with us today. Hello, Jason. I know you're jazzed up about the playoffs right now. Jesse Wells says, what clutch would be best for my 2002 high output NV5600 trans? Only 350-ish horsepower. Farm truck usually pulls 8K max on flat ground. Hoping to stay single disc. Thanks. Jesse, if that's really what's done to your truck, and you're not going to go any farther than that, you're probably going to want to be in your, you could do an HD clutch or a ceramic clutch from either of South Bend or Valera, either one of those. If you're dead set on staying single disc. Now, just like Zach told you, dual disc is the way to go. If you're wanting to some room to grow there, Jesse, you can do a street dual disc. A street dual disc is a very streetable clutch, so you're going to be able to slip it just a little bit when you're reversing. You're not going to get too much sound out of the street dual disc because they're dampened and they're quieter, and they're going to hold a whole lot more horsepower, so that's going to give you room to grow. A lot of people don't have intentions of building a truck, but you get a clutch in it, it starts holding the horsepower, then you want more horsepower, you get the taste on your lips, and and all of a sudden you're at 500 horsepower. So my suggestion, Jesse, just like Zach's telling you there, try to go in dual disc right out of the gate. If you can, street dual disc would definitely be the way to go. Conrad Rora, if your coolant is missing, where would it go? Keep adding and no leaks in an international tow truck. Conrad, that's a good question. You could actually be blowing coolant out if you've got a head gasket issue or maybe an EGR issue, and you've got crankcase pressure going back into the coolant system. You might be pushing the coolant out, and as you're driving it down the road, everything's dry. By the time you shut the truck off, you don't have any idea that's going on. So it could very well be coming out of the coolant overflow bottle. If the truck is not ingesting it, if it's ingesting it or burning it in the combustion cycle, then you're going to see some white smoke there. So look for the coolant somewhere else as well. You can also have an oil analysis sent off. Maybe the coolant is going into the oil in a very, very low amount. So a couple of different things you could have going on there. Emily and Michael, I know you do trucks, but I have a VW Bug diesel and I can't get the brake booster off the pedal. Any advice? So I need a special tool, or is there another trick? Michael, I'll be honest with you, I've never been there before. I don't know what it takes to that. Maybe if that's a press-on deal, if it's inside of the car, if you've got it inside the car and it can be pressed out, get it into a press and should be able to get it out. Kim and Tim Gilbert said MV5600 G56 for horsepower. They both got their faults, buddy. They both got their faults. The MV5600 is a very stout transmission, though. G56 can be if the proper modifications are done to it as well. So you've got a couple different routes there. MV5600, man, flip a coin. Flip a coin. Corey B. Craft again said, is the slightly overstock high pressure oil pump enough to get 600 horsepower in the 6.0, or do I need a heavy oil pump? The overstock oil pump is going to pack you just depending on the duration that's asked for in your tune and what high pressure oil pump that you go with and what injections you go with, because you can totally overwhelm a high pressure oil pump by the duration that you're asking for, way too daggone big of an injector. So when you're trying to get to that horsepower goal that you're looking for, you may fly past it. If you're going to go with big injectors and big time duration out of your tune, then you're going to want to go with a bigger pump than just slightly overstock. Best E99 turbo for a 7.3 from Matt Hendricks. Matt, if that is if your question is what is the best E series turbo, we have the genuine Garrett drop-in. That would be a perfect that would be a perfect turbo for your truck. Garrett is the stock turbo that came off the motor, so we offer those on the website as well. Banks MX, do you have to remove valve covers to replace glow plugs? Is RevX or Hot Shot needed if you change oil every 5K stock 6.0? All right, you got a couple different questions there. For the 6.0, if you're going to do a glow plug change, yes, you have to have the valve covers off the truck. RevX or Hot Shot, if you're looking to try to combat oil stiction, both of those products are great. Again, that's a flip a coin thing. Pick either one of them, and I think that's going to help the problems that you've got if you've got a stiction problem. Alejandro Morales says, what is the best lift pump for a 2000 Dodge Ram diesel? I have a direct, fast lift pump on the truck, but getting low pressure on it. Truck's just cranks and ain't getting any diesel out of it. Alejandro, if you're having a starting problem and the truck cranks and it's not starting, you could have a couple different things going on there. More than likely, you may not have anything wrong with your lift pump, irregardless of who made it. You're going to want to check and make sure that you're getting proper cranking speed. 24 valves, if you've got a starter going bad or you've got a battery going bad, you may not be getting the correct RPMs for the trucks to start. Or you could have a leak down. If you have a leak down on what we find normally on VP44 trucks, low side leak down, that if you're sitting overnight, go out to crank truck and it won't crank, that is a leak down situation. That's not going to have anything to do with your lift pump. Your lift pump is 99% of the time not the problem in that situation if you've got a crank time issue, because the VP44, actually a good VP44 with a good diaphragm in it, can pull its own fuel. Do a little bit more checking on that and figure out what you've got going on. Park it uphill, park it downhill, see if that combats your hard start. Got any questions on it, give me a call, brother. I missed a couple of those there, man, so guys, I'm going to go back. Hello, Rob. Thanks for joining. Banks, you're very welcome. Eric Montague, 100 horsepower over injectors. Do I have to change to a bigger turbo? Can I get away? 99 F350. Eric, if you want to get the most out of the fuel that you've got, you're definitely going to want to do a turbo upgrade for sure, man. Absolutely. At the very least, do a wicked wheel in the turbo. Be able to move a little bit more air in the sweet spot of the truck. So, Ronald Omar just joined us. Hello, Ronald. Thank you for coming. Glenn Bollinger, what is the best programmer for 04 6.0? Glenn, there's tons of different programmers out there. We sell a lot of SCT and Bully Dog product for the Fords. That seems to be where the Ford guys generally turn to is usually SCT products. If you like a shift on the fly upgrade, Edge makes a very, very good tuner as well. So you've got a lot of different options out there, man. Absolutely. Tyler Burrell, non-biased opinion for the best place to get a S467.7. Tyler, if you're wanting a box turbo like that, there are tons and tons and tons of them out there. If you're wanting a specialized turbo, we can give you a call, give you some suggestions, and reach out to some of our turbo manufacturers to get you set up in what you're wanting, and then get you some prices from there. Ronald Omar, are 50 or 100 horsepower injectors actually worth 50 or 100 true horsepower? Ronald, that's a very, very good question. I always say that you're going to get about 20% reduction at the rear wheels. It's usually a lighter number than that. It's usually about 10% reduction of wheels. So if they say 100 horsepower at the crank, you can usually guarantee, if you've got the sporting modifications to flow it, 90 horsepower at the rear wheels. That's usually a good gauge for it. I used to say 20, and if we go past that, that's even better. Zach Western, what's the most likely cause of crank no start on an 0273 Wade? I have a buddy that just bought one not running, and I am not a Ford guy. Okay, Zach, a couple of things that he's going to want to do there. He's going to want to make sure that he's getting fire to his glow plugs. If it's cranking and those start, you want to check fire to the glow plugs. You're going to want to run the codes on the truck. You're going to want to see what ICP pressure is. You're going to want to make sure that you're getting correct ICP percentage out of the truck. There are a lot of different things that I understand you're not a Ford guy, but the bad thing about a Huey injection system is you really can't shade tree it. You've just about got to have the proper tools for diagnosis, or you're going to have a laptop of some sort, or some sort of a tuner or a laptop or something where you can monitor the parameters. You've got to know IPR, man. There's a lot goes into that, Zach. So if you need us, give us a call. I'll be glad to try to walk through it with you. Chris Daly said, is the AFC Live for the P-Pump worth the money? Chris, I actually like the little module. If you've really got a smoky truck, you can turn it down and it's just not so damn smoky and aggravating for everybody else in the world, you know. Tim Gilbert is a smarty too much for a stock MV5600. Doesn't matter whether it's stock or not. The clutch is going to be the weak point of that, and also if you drive how you drive it. Don't drive like an idiot. You won't tear up the transmission. It's all in your driving style. We talk about that a lot. So ask Austin Varank, airbag set up for an 08 LMM. Better ride? Any opinions? We carry a couple of different lines there, Austin. I carry Firestone Ride Right. I also carry Pack Brake. Both of them are excellent brake systems. I have the compressors that go along with those. Irregardless of which one of those brands that you choose, man, I would definitely go with a compressor with a individual setup, so you can add or subtract air to the bags individually. don't try to go with it on a unison system to where you can air it down or air it back up. I like it on individual bags so I can watch both sides, or I can control both sides of the truck. So good luck to you, Austin. Travis Shoemaker says OBS 7.3 new fuel pump started fine yesterday right after install. Started today but died as soon as I pressed the throttle and it won't start again. Do you think it's an air problem? Travis, it very well could be. I don't know how much you've cranked on the truck, but with an OBS you had to do the in the valley fuel system. You shouldn't have had that big of an air pocket, I wouldn't think. So what was the original reason for changing out the lift pump? If you cannot get it started without a little bit more cranking, then I would suggest something something else could be going on there. Zach Western again says, I have my Matco Maximus home from work with me. Yeah, Zach, absolutely. So go into the truck, crank the truck, see how much IPR percentage you're getting, and if it's making IPR, if it's making injection pressure. So Steve Gravano says, I have a 2008 Ford F350 twin turbo diesel, cold air intake, EGR to lead, full exhaust. Do you think ATS Stage 2 will be a good training for the power? Absolutely, Steve. ATS makes a great transmission. I would suggest doing the transmission, the flex plate, and the torque converter all in one shot. Get everything taken care of, and then you don't have to worry about it there. So make sure the glow, and Zach says, make sure glow plugs are working and it has oil pressure pretty much. Zach, you got it, man. You got it. Steve, yes. Back to your question about the ATS. The Stage 2, I think the Stage 2 is not going to get you, maybe will get you to the torque converter. But, again, you're going to want to do torque converter, transmission, and flex plate. With the 2008, you might want to go ahead and do billet input shaft anyway, just to be on the safe side. We can talk about that, man, if you'd like to. That would put you in a Stage 3 or 4. So, yes, absolutely. ATS, great transmissions. Corey McGuire says, if I'm upgrading my intake, here's my wife calling. If I'm upgrading my intake elbow from stock to the Monster Banks 3.5 inch, do I need to get any kind of tune? Stock has a Race Me Ultra on it and it's fully deleted. No, Corey, no tuning is going to be needed to be changed there. That's actually a really good question. You should be able to flow that amount of air without having to make any fueling changes. So Gustavo, I'm not even going to try to say his last name, but Gustavo, I'm sure is a good dude here. 2005 F350 6.0, fully bulletproofed and studded. I can't decide between Edge Shoes with Attitude or ST X4 with Edge Insight. Which one would you recommend? And also, would I be able to download custom tunes for an Edge Evolution? Okay, on Edge Evolution, you would not be able to, but if you did the Edge Insight Pro, you would be able to get custom tuning at that point. The SCT X4 gives you provisions for custom tuning as well. A lot more guys are working in SCT custom tuning right now, but Edge is excellent tuning. If you're not looking for all-out horsepower, the Juice with Attitude is a really, really good module because you've got super easy shift on the fly monitoring capabilities. I really like the Edge hardware. So either way you go with that, Gustavo, you're going to be making a good choice for sure. Adam, it says a 2011 LML looking to do a CP3 conversion. What would you recommend, 10 mil or 12 mil? Adam, it's going to depend on how much farther you want to go down the road. I would just go, if you're going to be 600 horsepower and less, 10 mil pump is going to be plenty enough fuel for you. I think that you have got, you'll have plenty there. Shouldn't need to go with a 12 mil pump. 12 mil pump probably is guys that are wanting to do, 750 horsepower or better is more going to be your 12 mil pump guys. Let me go back through this, make sure I didn't miss anybody here. No, it kind of started rolling pretty good there. Hope I was able to answer everybody's questions correctly. All right, I think we got it. All right, couple of things I want to talk about Dyno J. Jace, I will get to your question here in just a second. One of the things I want to talk about, we had questions on this. I've had a couple of guys call in. If you are in stock turbo class, again, stock is a stock appearing turbo, so it has to be the turbo frame that came on the truck the year that the truck was made. Now, with that being said, if you have a stock appearing turbo and you are in the work stock class, if you run out of 650 horsepower, if you break out 650 is the max, your results will automatically be placed into 2.6, and you will then at that point be a 2.6 competitor. I have had some guys that have placed an entry into 2.6 and work stock. I wish that wasn't going on, but it's perfectly legal. If you break out again, you will have 2 entry results into 2.6 if you place 2 places. So please keep that in mind for you guys that are going to try that run there. Exhaust, if you bring a hood stack in, we can totally run a hood stack, but you're going to have something attached to it that I can get the hood stack piping on. And please understand that our hood stack setup in our dyno cell is going to be something that's going to have to touch the paint on your hood stack, so you've got to be aware of that. We will do everything we can to accommodate you. I cannot take any side dump exhaust that are running in front of the turbo, in front of your rear tire. If you have side dump running in front of the rear tires, I cannot run your truck. If you come in here and you have a 1991 Dodge and you tell me that your truck does not start fueling until you're running 180 miles an hour, I will not run you 180 miles an hour on my dyno. I am sorry. 120 miles an hour is going to be the cap mile per hour that we are going to run on the dyno this year. It's the same as it always is every year. I'm not running past that. You don't need to run past that. If you need to make your power 140 miles an hour, you need to get retuned. Okay? So now that we've said that, everybody knows that the rules on those, and let's go on with Jace's question here. So Jace Derryberry says, I have an 01 F350 7.3 with 180cc injectors, 66 mil turbo, K&N cold air kit, 5-inch exhaust, original high pressure oil pump, and a TS chip. In high RPMs and high speeds, my EGTs are getting way too high. What do you think will help to cool it down? Jace, that just depends on how far you're in the throttle at that time. It really is. I mean, if you are absolutely just hammering on it, you're going to get high EGTs at the time. I noticed that the truck in your profile pic is obviously lifted, got bigger tires on it. So there's a lot of parasitic drag on what you've got going on there, man. Really, at this point in the game, with what you've got done to the truck, if proper tuning, the truck should be able to run with that type of a turbo. It should run a pretty easy EGT. If you're not getting that, man, you may want to look at retuning for sure. Talk to somebody about possibly getting you some custom tunes, pull a little bit of duration out of the tune, and get you back into the sweet spot where you'll be able to use a little bit more turbo there. Josh Wesley joined. Josh Wesley is a good American. Jared Price. So if I'm running a 67 billet wheel compressor on an HE351CW, I'm legal in stock appearing class. Depends on what truck you are running in, Jared. If you're bringing an 89 Dodge in with a 351CW on it, no, you're not. But if it is the turbo frame, the stock appearing turbo, those are the key words to that. So, Jared, if you got any questions on that, we can talk about it in the tech line too. So, Wes Turner joined. Hello, Wes. Long time no talk, man. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Brian Thomas says, what are the best upgrades? A converter for a 68 RFE trans in an 09 2500, daily driven and tows around 10K occasionally. Truck is deleted and tuned, cold air intake and exhaust. Again, with 68 RFEs, we talk about that. We have full rebuild kits. We have ready to go transmissions from all the major manufacturers there. I definitely suggest trying to get some tuning going on with the truck. The 68 RFEs, you're able to control a lot of the line pressures there with that tuning. That's going to be able to help the truck live much, much better. You're also going to be able to change the shift points inside of the truck to make the truck get out of that 6-gear lug that they like to work in. You can move a few things around and get a lot more life outside of your turbo, Brian. So no problems there. Let's see. Josh West America. Got 23,000. Oh, like to see how many people we got watching today. It's a pretty day outside. Cat's got a big game against Missouri. Missouri in the house at Commonwealth this weekend. Hopefully Cat's going to win it by 50 biggins. That's what John Short would say, and that's what I'm hoping too. Need that win. Then we got a bye week after that, so a week away from football. It'll be court days down here, so we'll get to go out to Mount Sterling and pick up some good redneck stuff. I'm going to tell my coyote story when we get done with Shane Sherwood's question here. Shane Sherwood says, 98.5 24 valve, looking into an upgraded the turbo. What would be my best choice? Truck's nothing crazy, just hot rod VP44 injectors and a hot unlock. Shane, that's a really good question. If you're not going to go much bigger than that, I don't know how big injectors you got, probably 150 horsepower injectors, man. That's a 62 mil turbo, a 62 millimeter turbo, and with a couple of different compressors, has a 14 centimeter housing on it. It's going to be a little bit laggier than what you've got, but on the top end it's going to run like crazy. You're going to love that turbo. If you want to pull a little fuel out of it, go with a little bit smaller injector. We can get you in a little bit smaller housing on a turbo. Do a 12 centimeter housing. It's going to spool quite a bit faster there. You're going to lose a little bit on top end. So it's kind of a push around there of what you're going to want to look for, but you really need to understand if you're going to be able to, if you're okay with having the truck be a little bit laggier, some of the turbos that are going to get you more performance on top end, so you've got to learn where the sacrifices are going to be with that, Shane. That's a good question. Thanks for hollering ass, man. Logan Dees, hello from Mount Vernon. Hello, Logan. I'm through Mount Vernon quite a bit, man. Zach, Shane, I think something like a fleece cheetah would be a good fit. Yes, Zach, you're right again. The fleece cheetah is a very good one. Again, that's a drop-in turbo. It's going to be a drop-in modified Holset. ATS Aurora 3000 would be a good turbo too. That's going to be a little bit small, just depending on how big his injectors are. So Gregory, join Greg, get back to work. Tad Fox, what's the better exhaust housing for a 7.3 with 180cc full force injectors? I would think, Tad, you're probably going to want to be in a little bit bigger turbo altogether. I don't think that the a housing change on that's probably going to be enough for you. I think you're going to want to be a little bit bigger on both sides, Tad. I'll be honest with you, man. That's 180cc is not a huge injector, but I think that there are a couple of different turbo options out there for you. The ball bearing, I know everybody talks about this, but the ball bearing gear, it's a great drop-in turbo. Usually rolling coal around town in my 06 Cummins. That's it. Good American. Tyler says, I have a 2012 Ram 2500 full fueling upgrades S475 with EFI Live. Truck made 626 but was having a harder time spooling due to the old cell being broke. When is a girdle needed, or when would it really save my butt? Tyler, I don't know what you've got going out there. Was having a hard time spooling due to the old cell being broke. All right, I didn't understand that question. But when was a girdle needed, or when would it save my butt? Tyler, the 6.7s have got a stock girdle inside of the motor already. It's not a huge, gorilla girdle or anything like that, but it does obviously offer some rigidity to the bottom end of the motor. I think that girdle in the stock one, if that's where you're at as far as your power goes, I think you're in good shape right there. Tyler said load. Anybody with hard time spawning due to load. Okay, I understand. More load on you that you're having. 475 really, honestly, with 2012, just depending on what housing's on the turbo, it should spool pretty well. 6.7 is a very good, very efficient motor as far as moving air goes. So Justin Porter, this is going to be my last question. I'm going to tell you my Coyote story. So Justin Porter on a 7.3 stroker with a mechanical fuel pump. Truck has a constant hard start, new low pressure oil pump, ICP and IPR check out good. I know there's a fuel line and selector valve issue. Would that cause the constant hard start? Justin, if you've got something going on inside the tank on the sock strainer inside of there, that could very well be your problem. Look for oil leaks or fuel leaks around the top of the engine too, around your fuel filter housing. Look for some of those braided lines that might be leaking. Look for any type of moisture there. If you see moisture on a mechanical pump, IDI motor 736A, a little bit of moisture, even if you got a little bit of a leak, that's going to cause you a hard start every time. That sensor that's on the fuel housing, again, that little sensor leaks all the time. Look for moisture around that. So, in closing today, tell my Coyote story. So last night at 12 o'clock, my wife and I wake up and our dog is barking out the window. We got a little lap dog, Chili Bean, and he's barking. So I raise up, I look at something around, and I've lost my glasses. So there's something running around in my damn yard and black and darting everywhere. And I told Ellie, I said, Ellie, I don't know what that is. Run around out in the yard. So she runs and gets her glasses, comes back. She's like, Wade, that's a coyote. Holy crap. Coyotes are the bane of my existence. I love to kill coyotes. I hate coyotes. They're up in my yard. They're hunting my cats. I got 2 cats that stay outside, so they were hunting my damn cats. So up I go, pull my jeans on, run out to the front door. I'm sitting there in my jeans, pitch dark, 308, jack one in the chamber, go hot, boom, miss the coyote. First time, he goes about 50 yards. I jack another one in, I'm hot, boom, take his leg out from underneath of him. Wind up wiping the coyote out, had to go out and finish him off with my 45. Thank goodness to get another coyote off my plate. They are like to kill my cats. I don't like to lose my cats. So, hey, I had to tell my coyote killing story today. So that's everybody. We're going to go into the weekend, Coyote, absolutely. We got to get rid of all of them. We need a few of them, but we don't need as many as we've got. Guys, really looking forward to seeing everybody at Dyno Day. For us here at the shop, there's a lot that goes into it for us. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears getting ready to have you all here, and we're absolutely honored when you all come into our place of business. We're honored to have you as customers. We're thankful to have you as customers, and we're honored to have you here for our Dyno Day. Love to see everybody there. David Sidwell, our sales manager, he's going to be cooking some good food for you. I'll be the MC on the dyno. Adam is going to be running around. He's probably going to be MCing. We're all going to be here. Everybody's going to be here. We're going to have a good time, good family atmosphere. If you come in here and you're already cocked and loaded that you're going to want to argue with me on the dyno, I'm not arguing with anybody. You take what you get and get off. So that's it, but we're going to be glad to have you, everybody, and we'll accommodate everybody the best we can. So, absolutely, we're going to talk to you guys on Saturday. Hope to see everybody there. Everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. And I guess we're going to tell them bye, Wade. So, bye, Wade.